Lindsey Graham wasn't the institution, but he was an institution. I'm Pete Seat, and this is Right on Cue. So, in the hours following the sudden passing of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, there was an outpouring of grief from President Trump to Senator Graham's Republican colleagues, both past and present, to even his Democratic colleagues, both past and present. And that might come as a shock. Democrats mourning the loss of a Republican, especially one in this political era closely aligned with President Trump, as Lindsey Graham was, can feel abnormal in these times. But they always knew where Graham was coming from because he was transparent about why he wanted to remain relevant. And frankly, his relevance sometimes benefited them and issues that they cared about too. From his viewpoint, he needed to be in the room in order to move the room. And sure, he could have spent the Trump years bashing Trump. He would have become a fixture on cable news for other reasons than for the reasons that he was. And he could have built a base of hyper online followers who shared and commented everything he said and did. But to him, that wasn't going to change policy. To change policy, he needed to change minds. And to change minds, he needed allies, both Republicans and Democrats. Two of those allies in a very different political era were John McCain and Joe Lieberman, one a Republican, one a Democrat. They were known as the three amigos because the three of them were always together, traveling the world, traveling the country, and standing together on issues that they all found to be important. But back in those times, bipartisanship reigned supreme. You had the gangs of 8 and 12 and 16 or whatever number. They could write legislation, they could build coalitions, they could even sometimes muscle their plans through the Senate. They had real power. But then the political era changed. The power balance shifted away from bipartisan coalitions and toward a single man, a single individual inside the Oval Office. Lindsey Graham, wanting to stay relevant, shifted accordingly. So whenever there was a major issue in the first era or this era being debated, whether it was on television or on the Senate floor or behind closed doors, you could guarantee that Lindsey Graham found a way into the room. He didn't care whether the room was only Republicans or there were a handful of Democrats there or maybe even people that his party or the other party found to be repulsive. He was there. That's how he built and maintained relevance across these various political eras. He knew this. You have to show up. You have to deal with people as they are, and sometimes you have to make allies with people your own side can't stand. Some saw that as opportunism. Sometimes it probably was. But it was also an accurate read of how Washington works, how politics works, and heck, how life works. Having a pulse on Washington's dynamics, understanding where the power has moved, and knowing how to make himself a player in every era of his tenure is what made Lindsey Graham an institution within the institution. I'm Pete Seat, and that was Right on Cue.